Welcome, 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 humanity. Come on in. Yes, another pro-black everything PBE video. May 22nd, 2024. Wednesdays, wisdoms and understanding, family. Let's get on in here so you can get your Wednesdays wisdom and understanding, family. Yes, 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 yes. It's time to get your prescribed education and medication and truth and facts, critical thinking and analysis, reality, logic, and last but not least, humanity. It's a must. Already too late for you too to get out your feelings. But if you don't decide to get in, if you don't decide to get out your feelings, DeAndre Devon Manley, aka hashtag pro black everything PBE, is still gonna hit you with these goddamn jabs, uppercuts, haymakers, left and right arm bars, rear naked chokes, and uppercuts of truth and facts, critical thinking and analysis, and reality. I owe it to my motherfucking ancestors. I owe it to my babies to make sure that you get hit with this truth and this motherfucking fact and reality. So that's what you're gonna get, humanity, whether you get mad or not. But specifically and primarily, the black man, black woman, black child, the mothers and fathers of humanity on this planet we call Earth, the grandmothers and grandfathers of humanity of this planet we call Earth, the gods and goddesses of this planet we call Earth of humans. Anything and everything that you might name something that's first in the species, that's what the African Alcabulan black race is to humanity on this goddamn planet. I can't speak on no other planets, family. I can't do it. But I can tell you about this goddamn planet because our ancestors then told us. I done seen it through my own eyes in reality, the stuff I'm telling you, besides the information that our greats then told us. So let's get in here to get this information because we've been relegated, delegated, and mass murder, raped, and tortured down to the bottom of the human totem pole, black race, by two races of people under slave trades they had of us, and under these gods and religions that they were using when they was mass murder, raping, and slaughtering and torturing our black babies in the transatlantic slave trade and the Arabic slave trade under Islam. So Christianity, Catholicism, Judaism, and Islam, people had slave trades under them gods and religions and mass murder, rape, and torture hundreds of millions of African people. Um, so let's get it here, family. Let's get it started. One thing I can tell you before I press play on this is the reason I tell you that for me, it's laughable, a lot of this stuff. And I tell people, when you know true history, truth and facts, critical thinking and analysis and objectivity, when you know all of that, these things like religions and gods and all this become funny and laughable. And you can cuss out and say, F this God and these religions, but you know the history of them. You know the 5 W's and car fact check of these religions and these belief systems and these humans that started these belief systems, family. That's why I say it'd be laughable. But see, when you don't know history, you've been taught, educated a certain way, you get upset and mad. It's built into your psyche. It's been taught to you to get mad when somebody to tell you to start thinking outside that box and say, fuck your political party and fuck your religion. You've been taught, it's been programmed into you to get upset and get mad and be willing to fight and die for that, which you've been taught and educated for century after century after century by the motherfuckers who mass murder, raped, and tortured your mind, body, and soul, you and your babies. The people that educate you today, the white man and his mama, the Arab man and his mama, is the ones that owe you hundreds of trillions of dollars in tangible and capital. Why would you think that these people, specifically and primarily the white man and his mama, will educate you to be willing to fight and die for something that they owe you? Family, that doesn't make any sense, but I got it. Y'all got all the European cave degrees and all the European knowledge and information. And Dre ain't got no degrees and ain't got none of this stuff. He just got a PhD in common sense. He just got black thought, African Alcabulan thought and mindset. I understand it. You got your slave master, mom and daddy thought process and mindset and everything. And I got my ancestors who fought and died. And up until they died, was telling us who the fuck our enemy was and what they done and still plan on doing and still doing to us. That's what our ancestors taught us, fam. They died. They were murked off by this motherfucking white supremacy system, like the Thomas Sankaras and the Malcolm X's and the Khalid Muhammad's and the Medgar Evers and the Black Panther Party. They were murked the fuck off. But when they were dying, before they died, they were telling us all of this. They weren't telling us that we were free and equal and got our reparations and was with some equality. Like, Ray, let's go on here because I keep going on because we got a very special person I want to speak on today and let him speak and tell you a lot of things too. His name is Dr. Tony Browder. Um, a legend, a living legend, still living, still doing it. One of the ancestors that's still living, one of the greats, one of the goats, one of the gods that's still living. I told you over here, you might not. Understand some of the stuff I say when I say he's still an ancestor of living, because I speak an El Cabulan, a Black or African English version over here. You got that? All right, so let's go ahead and listen to this theme song, and then we're going to go ahead and get it in. It's only going to last about 2 minutes. We ain't going to listen to the whole thing. Let's get in here and get it.
Because, see, it's just one religion that really counts, and that is the religion of white supremacy. All of the other people are tempted to practice their religion. Most people who have a religion are very, very sincere. And they prove it by their actions and whatnot, up until the time that the white supremacists step forward and say, well, now, you can practice this part of your religion. If you want to have a picnic or something like that, I don't mind that. If you want to clap your hands or you want to sing and whatnot, I don't mind that. Just help yourself. That's not bad for my business. But if I want to kill people and all like that, you better not start saying, thou shalt not kill, and then start interfering with me while I'm doing my, or I will kill you. And they have proven that they will do that.
They have proven it.
And people fear that. And they let people know. Now, you can have as many.
He said they've been proving that. They've been proving they work to let you know what they've been doing. They've been mass murder, raping, and torturing anybody or anything that gets in the white man, his mama, and child. They've been showing and proving. The atomic bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki, this transatlantic slave trade, what they did to the Native Americans, what they still do in Africa, what they did in Jim Crow, what they did in apartheid, what they did in separate but equal in exploitation, and what they did in black codes and redlining and school to prison pipeline, or whatever you call it today. They work speaks for itself. They showed and proved how much of a motherfucking mass gangster, drug dealer, killer they are. That's why motherfuckers fear them. Because they show and prove. They don't just, the white man, his mama, and their child don't just fucking talk. They've been showing and proving since they left out of Europe after the Ice Age, after there was mass murder, raping, and torturing each other in Europe for hundreds and hundreds of years, with no other race of people around in Europe but just them. Once they got out of Europe, they started massacring the planet. That's why I call them planet killers. And everything in their way, everything that they see and was able to touch and see or whatever, they've been mass murder, raping, and torturing. They're planet killers between the humans and all the other species, family. I don't have to make things up, family. I know history. So let's get in here and finish this up.
As many gods as you want. But when I tell you to do something, you better jump. Like I'm your God. Because for all practical purposes, I am. Now, you might have a God in heaven, but I'm the one who rules you on this planet.
Facts.
So you can sing about after you're dead all you want to.
He just, Mr. Neely Fuller, this 94-year-old God and King, is saying, like he said, you might have a God somewhere. You might have fake. But what he said, what the white man, his mom, and child saying, on this motherfucking planet we call Earth, I'm your goddamn God. You follow all my motherfucking religions, and 99% of you. You follow my political parties, and you have my European degrees. What you mean I ain't your motherfucking God and your mom and your daddy? Black man, black woman, black child, you so-called educated niggas. Let's keep it going.
Just don't mess with me while we're both walking around on the same planet.
Yeah.
Because this is my planet.
Yeah.
You don't own none of it. And you don't have anybody anywhere in the spiritual world or the material world that can help you when I get on your case.
Did he just say you ain't got nobody? White man, his mom said you ain't got nobody in the real world or the spiritual world to help you with the motherfucking white man, his mama, the true number one steppers and sliders and ass in traffic anywhere. When they coming at you, ain't no God or anything in no spiritual world, no real world can help you out when it comes to this motherfucking white man, his mama on this planet. Okay, let's keep
going. And most people, so far, have backed down when the voice of the white supremacists come into the picture. And some of them haven't backed down, and most of them who didn't back down are dead.
He said the ones that didn't back down, because some of them did, like Malcolm X and Medgar Evers and Khalid Muhammad and the Black Panther Party. What happened to them? And Thomas Sankara and Patrice Lumumba's, what happened to them? Oh, okay. Marcus, what happened to them? Okay. you know what happened to them. The motherfucking number one steppers and sliders on this planet we call Earth, and that's the European, his mama. That's what happened to them. Let's go.
Who are you? You don't know. Don't tell me Negro. That's nothing. What were you before the white man named you a Negro? And where were you? And what did you have? What was yours? What language did you speak then? What was your name? It couldn't have been Smith or Jones or Bunch or Powell. That wasn't your name. They don't have those kind of names where you and I came from. No, what was your name? And why don't you now know what your name was then? Where did it go? Where did you lose it? Who took it? And how did he take it? What tongue did you speak? How did the man take your tongue? Where is your history? How did the man wipe out your history? How did the man, what did the man do to make you as dumb as you are right now?
Black man, black woman, black child. Like I say, we're gonna get in here. Like I said, we got to speak on Tony Browder. We're gonna listen to some of the stuff he said yesterday on Sodnetter's platform. Spoke the truth. So before we get in here and listen to Dr. Browder, we one thing you want to do is you want to find out something about a person, before you start listening to him. Find out a little bit about him. I suggest, and sometimes you can find it out about him just by listening to him. But I usually like pulling up the people that I'm going in and studying and reading their books to read a little more about them as well as watching their lectures and reading their books. So we're gonna go in here because my ancestors died to read and get free. So we're gonna go in here and read. We'll go here. I'm gonna go here and read this for you so I can give you a little background of Dr. Antonio Browder to let you know. To see, this ain't DeAndre Devon Manley. You can say Dre ain't got these degrees. He ain't educated from my white mama and daddy. He ain't got all these accolades and all of this. So we ain't got to listen to him because he just playing. He don't know what he's doing. He just blabbing at the mouth. He probably ain't even listened to the histories of our ancestors and all that. He don't know none. And the people that he bring up, who are they? So let's go here and see who are these people that I speak of. Anthony T. Browder, who is still living, I might add, is an author, a publisher, cultural historian, artist, and an educational consultant. He is a graduate of Howard University College of Fine Art and has lectured extensively throughout the United States, Africa, Caribbean, Mexico, Japan, and Europe on issues related to African and African American history and culture. He's a motherfucking stepper and motherfucking slider for the African race. Let's keep it going. Dr. Browder is the founder of the director of the IKG Cultural Resources and has devoted 30 years researching ancient Egyptian history, science, philosophy, and culture. Did they say 30 years? He's been researching ancient African history, science, philosophy, and culture. 30 years? You niggas ain't read half of your or a quarter of your Christianity, Catholicism, Judaism, or Islam books, but he's been studying and researching African history and culture and science and philosophy for over 30 years. He has traveled to Egypt 54 times since 1980 and is currently director of the SAS Restoration Project, which is funding the excavation and restoration of the 25th dynasty tomb of Karkarama in Luxor, Egypt. Archaeology work, huh? Excavation. He's funding it. That's what we're doing. This is his background. Let's keep it going. Browder is the first African American to fund and coordinate an archaeological dig in Egypt and has conducted 23 archaeological missions in Egypt since 2019. When I tell you, black man, black woman, black child, that it's already been archaeologically, it's already been goddamn anthropology, it's already been scientifically proven that the black man, black woman, black child are the mothers and fathers of humanity. That's what I mean, black race. Like I said, I don't have to lie about this. When you know this motherfucking information, this other stuff that you thought that was true, you laugh about, family. But you only can do that if you're really willing to be a lifetime student and a lifetime teacher. And if you ain't, this ain't for you. This a lifetime thing for me. This is just me. This is not separate from me. The stuff I'm doing here in these videos and these lectures and stuff that I put out and the stuff I'm bringing to you. This is my lifestyle. Let's keep it going. Mr. Browder's 3 decades of study. Mr. Browder's 3 decades of study have led him to the conclusion that ancient Africans were the architects of civilization and developed the remnants of what has become the scientific, religious, and philosophical backbone of mankind, humankind. It is from this framework that the IKG has concentrated its research and disseminating its findings. Through IKG, Dr. Prouder sponsors lectures, seminars, cultural field trips of Washington, D.C., publishes his research, and has conducted study tours to Egypt, West Africa, and South Africa and Mexico since 1987. He is an author of 6 publications, including bestsellers from The Broader File and the Nile Valley Contribution to Civilization. That's a great one. I ain't read the other one yet, but the Nile Valley Contribution to Civilization, got it, read it. And the co-author of 6 publications, including 2 written within his now 35-year-old daughter, Atlantis Ty. His daughter had already written 3 books. All of Browder's publications are currently being used in classrooms around the world. Tony is an autodictate. If y'all didn't know, I'll put this out before. Self-taught. That's what I tell you I am. That's what he is, and describes himself a chronicler of facts and information related to the positive portrayal of the worldwide African experience. Autodictate. That's me. Self-taught, self-educated, don't need no European degrees, don't need no European way of thinking. Family. You don't need these things to be intelligent. The people who mass murder, rape, and torture you under gods for hundreds and hundreds of years in religions is not going to educate you and your children to be equal to them, or to know your history, just to know that they came from you. They're not going to teach and educate you that, family. How dare you to think that your motherfucking enemy is going to teach and educate you and your goddamn babies? That's an ignorant way of thinking, family. That has never happened in human history, family, about nobody controlling nobody else. I'm going to digress. Let's go here to get to the main point today, man. I'm trying to skip past a lot of stuff I do because this is why I say, man, it's sad. You know what I'm saying? Us as a black race, family. People are laughing at us, man. And we're going to start off with this. We're going to do 3 little clips in here. Might do more, but I'm going to at least do 3 little because I got the time frame stamped on here now because he said very key things throughout this whole interview that y'all need to go watch. Anthony Browder, Ancient Kemet, The Light of the World. Y'all need to go watch this, write some key significant things down that he said in there like I did on one of my notebooks. And then go do the Carfax checks and 5 W's on it. Like he said, he's going to say this, I don't need to lie. It ain't about lying. I need to know truth and facts. So let's get in here, listen to him. Shout out to the House of Consciousness. Shout out to Sarnetta, even though I said a few bad things to Sarnetta back in the day of certain things that I didn't like what he did with or was doing in certain areas. Disagree. But overall, Sarnetta been putting it down, man. He's one of the ones out here that put it down from the jump when he was outside with a bullhorn back in the day when I first started watching Sarnetta going at the motherfucking cave in his mama. So I got to give respect where it's due. We ain't got to agree on everything, but Sarnetta is a motherfucking true patriot and a motherfucking slider and stepper for the black race, family. Just to put that out there in that street too. So let's get in here and listen to Dr. Browder. This was just yesterday, family. Let's see, because when was this? Oh, 12 hours ago. Let's go.
All these years. You know, I thought I knew a lot, but now I'm beginning to process what I've known through a different perspective. I'm seeing things differently. And in that respect, I can say that I've grown, I've evolved. And the truth of the matter is that we should continue to grow, evolve, and learn as we live. Nobody knows everything, right? And learning is a lifetime experience. And I'm at the point.
Did he just say learning is a lifetime experience, niggas and niggettes?
In my life now where I can synthesize 44 years worth of travel to Egypt, 47 years of studying this subject matter. I can synthesize information in
47 years. That's 2 years older than me. 47 years of studying and research, critical thinking, analysis, knowledge and information he's gathered, family. 47 years. That's why I tell you, man, when you got this from the greats that's been doing it for decade and decade and decades and decades, that's why I stand up against anybody. That's why I say all you motherfuckers with your degrees, truth and facts overcomes that, family. Like he's going to say in here too, knowledge cancels out ignorance. And that's going to be the name of this video right here. Knowledge cancels out ignorance. But you got to get knowledge and be willing to accept that knowledge first.
Put the pieces of the puzzle together in such a way that they make more sense to me. And it's my job, it's my responsibility to make certain that I can speak with clarity to the people that I'm taking to Egypt, to the people that I'm talking to this history and culture with in interviews such as yours, and the people who read my books. As someone had mentioned in the post, I'm concerned with factual information. I don't talk about what I think. I don't talk about what I believe. I talk about what I know.
That nigga say he in the facts. Critical thinking and analysis of reality and objectivity. Not what I think, not what I know. I mean, not what I think, not what I believe. Faith in. We're going to rewind that little part because that's very motherfucking key, family. That's why I try to tell y'all, man.
History, whether it's the history of Kemet, African-American history, or
my fault.
Egypt, 47 years of studying this subject matter, I can synthesize information and put the pieces of the puzzle together in such a way that they make more sense to me. And it's my job, it's my responsibility.
My fault, fam. We got to blow this up. Yeah, we got to blow this up.
To make certain that I can speak with clarity to the people that I'm taking to Egypt, to the people that I'm talking to this history and culture with in interviews such as yours, and the people who read my books. As someone had mentioned in the post, I'm concerned with factual information. I don't talk about what I think. I don't talk about what I believe. I talk about what I know.
Yeah.
And knowledge cancels out ignorance. Knowledge is based on proven facts, not just theories.
Not just theories.
But things that can be proven time and time again.
Time and time again.
How I deal with.
Fam, we just have to rewind that again one more time, family. Like, did you just hear what he said? Let's go.
Certain that I can speak with clarity to the people that I'm taking to Egypt, to the people that I'm talking to this history and culture with in interviews such as yours, and the people who read my books. As someone had mentioned in the post, I'm concerned with factual information. I don't talk about what I think. I don't talk about what I believe. I talk about what I know.
What do you know?
And knowledge cancels out ignorance. Knowledge is based on proven facts. Not just theories.
Not just
but
theories.
Things that can be proven time and time again. So that's how I deal with all history, whether it's the history of Kemet, African-American history, or history in general. I talk about what I know and what can be proven. Now, I'll have a private conversation with anybody off the record about my thoughts and theories, but these are just thoughts and theories. Everybody has ideas and thoughts and theories, but they're not necessarily true. You may believe in them, but I believe it's something you accept without facts. And that when
belief is something you accept without facts, family. Your goddamn religions, your goddamn political parties, nigga. If you ask me, but religions.
We're dealing with an audience, we owe it to them to speak truth. And we also owe it to them to bring whatever documentation we have to substantiate the truth. And my position is, if someone tells you something and they can't prove what they're saying, I choose not to believe.
Somebody come to him with some shit, they can't prove it. You can't believe them, nigga. They made it up. That's what I told y'all. Family is about truth and reality. And get out your goddamn feelings, Black race. I promise you it is. I'm gonna skip it to like I said, y'all need to go and watch this whole thing. He kills. I'm about to fast forward it to another point in here. It's a couple points I got to because it's just I don't know, man. Here go another one. Browder, Tony Browder, a question, and watch how he responds to this. Fam. Let's go.
Further that, you know, in our babies, in our minds, as a part of our cultural heritage or intellectual property that we need to kind of get back into.
Sure, I appreciate the question, brother. And anybody who knows that the word chemistry was derived from the word chemet, the knowledge of chemet.
Chemistry was derived from the word chemet. What? Hey, let's keep it going, fam. Let's just keep it going.
That's clear. And I saw in the chat someone said, well, when is he going to answer the question about whether or not chemet means the black soil? Anyone who has studied the language, studied the history and culture should know that chemet refers to the black people of the land, right? The black people of the land. And so if we look at chemet, if we look at Kush means.
Did he say he studied the language and the land and every twin? Oh, okay. Let's keep it.
The black people of the land. Let's look at the word Ethiopia. Ethiopia means the burnt skinned people, the black people of that land. So all of these names, Kush, Kemet, and Ethiopia, reference the African people, the indigenous African people who lived in the lands that gave birth to humanity, culture, and civilization. So we don't have to engage in arguments with anybody about that. If people want to argue, I'll just turn the page and move on. We've got better things to do with that time.
We got to go back to what he just said. It's very fucking key, family. It's very key, family. It's very key. Listen to what the scholar said. Not barely pro-black everything PBE. You religious motherfucking fanatics. You God and an angel and religion loving niggas and niggas on this fucking planet. You niggas that I say is part of this grown people Santa Claus, this mythological thing, family. Let's go.
Of the land, right? The black people of the land. And so if we look at Kemet, if we look at Kush means the black people of the land. Let's look at the word Ethiopia. Ethiopia means the burnt skinned people, the black people of that land. So all of these names, Kush, Kemet, and Ethiopia, reference the African people, the indigenous African people who lived in the lands that gave birth to humanity, culture, and civilization. So we don't have to engage in arguments with anybody about that. If people want to argue, I'll just turn the page and move on. We've got better things to do with that time. And brother, the question that you raised about the chemistry and the Egyptian blue, this royal blue, these are the qualities of questions that we really need to be focusing on, because it deals specifically with science, which means knowledge, things that can be proven. Right? So math was never my strong point, right? I chemistry in high school, right? I was terrible with algebra because I had a phobia of math that I got from my 4th grade teacher. So math has never been my strong point. I'm an artist by training, right? And have had aspirations when I was in high school and college, had aspirations of being an architect. And what that deterred me from that path was my phobia of math. But at my heart, I'm still an artist, and I still have this profound appreciation for architecture. So I can share with you, and obviously you have an affinity for math and science, and that's wonderful. What I am beginning now to truly understand in Kemet, specifically in Luxor, Waset, is the significance of the sacred landscape, the architecture, and what is referred to as architectonics, the creation of buildings and the spaces around the buildings that are designed in such a manner that they influence the consciousness of people who see these objects, who move within these spaces, and it affects their consciousness. So we know for a fact that the orientation of buildings to the winter solstice, or the summer solstice or the equinoxes. We find that information is now coming to the fore where we now know that every major temple in Kemet was oriented to the equinoxes or the solstices.
I got one more. I want to just play this whole thing, but it's too long, and I know people attention span, but I promise you, you really want to understand and start to know this information and knowledge about yourself, Black race, El Cabulan, African race, and passing this down to your children and motherfuckers to your left and to your right. Go watch this whole thing. But I got one more that I'm gonna let play for a few minutes, family. That's why I'm stopping this right now on this part right here. So we're gonna go to this other point of it, and then we're gonna let it rock for a few minutes, and then go and then roll out, family. And it's all there and go research. Like he said, knowledge cancels out ignorance. Learning is a lifetime experience, family. Let's go.
Key is we should know that this research is not going to be funded by traditional institutions. That funding has to come from our community, and we have the resources to do this work. We have to have the consciousness. Right? We have to have the consciousness and the commitment to invest in something that may not yield benefits in our lifetime.
Yes, our babies. But
if we're true about what we're doing, we're not living for our lifetime. We're living for the generations to come. Why? Because we will ultimately live through them.
Thank you.
If we understand this whole ancestral connection.
Thank you.
So, we're standing on the threshold of a profound shift of human consciousness. And despite the opposition from others, they can't stop what's happening, right? Things are in motion, and it's
when he say others, he's talking about this white man and his mama, and he talking about the Arab man and his mama for what they done. See, he was taught up under Dr. Ben and Dr. Clark and Dr. Francis Crest and all of them. And it's crazy. I'm gonna let this go for a minute. He might say it in this little clip that I'm gonna pull up. I mean, that you listen to now. But he's a graduate from Harvard, as we read, Howard University in Hampton, Virginia. I'm very familiar with there because my father-in-law lives right in Hampton. I was stationed at Fort Eustis in Newport News, right down the road. Used to visit that area all the time, Buckrow Beach, all of that, when I was stationed out there. But at this historically Black HBCU, this is why I tell you that you have a Eurocentric way of thinking. Even if you have a HBCU background, a lot of you niggas that ain't really dived in on African-centric way of thinking. I say you still have a white cave slave master mom and daddy degrees, because at this Howard University, this HBCU that everybody keep telling me about, these HBCUs, it was a white female professor there, a white cave motherfucker there that was a professor that was teaching Nile Valley history at an all Black university. that threw me first when he said it in this video. Like, hold on, it was a white woman in a historically Black college teaching Nile Valley ancient African civilizations. Oh God, what the fuck is we doing? What you mean we ain't thoroughly still enslaved to educated in enslavement, family? The motherfuckers who mass murder, raped, and torture us is teaching at HBCUs on ancient African now history and civilization, family. Are we serious? That's sad that a motherfucking white cave motherfucker is teaching at a historically Black college about now ancient African Black mothers and fathers civilization, family. That's one thing that was like, what the fuck? But it even goes further. She told her students at this historically HBCU college, if they use Dr. Joseph Ben Yochanan work, Dr. John Henry Clark works, Asa Hilliard works, or Anthony Browder's work, this guy you see here, for references, they would get an automatic F. So the motherfucker that she said you couldn't use, they're the top most expertise in ancient African history and African people. She told motherfuckers, you can't use them. And if you do, it's an automatic F. This is a motherfucking historically Black college. She wasn't fired immediately. Go to a motherfucking all-white college and tell motherfuckers that's a Black professor that you can't use no motherfucking top white historians that's well known in your reference, or you're going to get an F. You won't last to the end of that motherfucking class, family. We can do it in, you can do it in black people's, because like I told you, we the bitch made niggas of the planet. Let's keep it going far. Keep going down this road. Let's go, family. It's just sad than a motherfucker, but let's go.
Time for those of us who are serious about knowing our history and culture to get involved and to renew our commitment and support those scholars, those sisters and brothers who are doing the work.
Doing the work.
And you support those folk who have proven themselves to be worthy of your investment.
Proven to be worthy of your
talent, and your treasure.
If I was to say to you, the three major religions, Christianity, Islam, and Judaism, you can find the likeness of all three in ancient Kemet because that's where it comes from. What would you say to me?
Watch how the motherfucking expert, the subject matter expert, responds to this, family. And get out your goddamn feelings while he breaks this down. Let's go.
I would say you wouldn't find the likeness, you find the DNA.
All right.
You find the DNA. And anybody who is honest, anybody who is honest will see that. And so, you know, it's not about disparaging someone's belief.
Right. That's right.
It's about understanding that it's just a belief. It's just that, a belief.
A belief.
And that no one's God, because God is a concept.
A concept.
Nobody's God is superior or inferior to anybody else's God.
God is a motherfucking concept that the African vocabulary black race gave to the world. That's why I tell y'all, if you knew spiritual system, religion, and these gods in its purest form, they were talking about being one with nature, all living things, family. God is a concept that the African vocabulary black race that gave that concept to the world, family. So now when you hear me say it and been saying it for years, now you understand what I mean by concept. You got to go back and listen to that again because you ain't gonna believe it unless Dr. Crowder said, and I ain't mad at you.
Stop what's happening, right? Things are in motion, and it's time for those of us who are serious about knowing our history and culture to get involved and to renew our commitment and support those scholars, those sisters and brothers who are doing the work. And you support those folk who have proven themselves to be worthy of your investment, of your time, your talent, and your treasure.
If I was to say to you, the three major religions, Christianity, Islam, and Judaism, you can find the likeness of all three in ancient Kemet because that's where it comes from. What would you say to me?
I would say you wouldn't find the likeness, you find the DNA.
All right.
You find the DNA. And anybody who is honest, anybody who is honest will see that. And so, you know, it's not about disparaging someone's belief.
Right. That's right.
It's about it's just that, a belief.
That's all.
And that no one's God, because God is a concept.
Concept.
Nobody's God is superior or inferior to anybody else's God. All God is a pathway to sacred science, sacred knowledge. God is a concept. And once you understand that, then you can free yourself from the prison that many religions impose on our minds and on our souls.
Facts.
And that's a whole nother conversation. I don't want to get caught up in that, but it's important to know that when you travel to Kemet specifically, you will see the origins of the three major Western religions.
All right, King Simon, you know Anthony Browder, brother? You know that?
Of course.
Come on.
Brother.
What's up, brother? How you been?
I'm well. Thank you.
Thank you. What's up, brother? Mr.
What's going on, beloved? Yes, sir.
You know, of course, always. Last time I seen him was at the naming of Dr. Ben Street over there. That's the time that I ran into him over there.
No, I saw you at Simotep.
Yeah, Simotep.
A couple years ago. That was the last time I saw you.
Right before Minister Clemson transition.
Yes.
Minister Clemson transition. And I was telling you about that. I want to go to something about you and your daughter, man. Big up to Atlantis. Enough respect to Atlantis all the time. You brought her.
Watch how he, the question King Simon says, asked for kind of statement he asked for Tony Browder to to speak on a little more is Tony Browder's daughter. He took Kemet to Africa for her first time since she was 7, and he's been teaching her up until then to now she's 35 years old, and he's going to break down how her mind is now in a way. Listen to what they say, and then we're going to end it for today.
As a child into the temples.
Right.
And how important is it to reintroduce this to our children again? Because I remember they used to, back in the day, they used to take children for free back in the day. And now, you know, from a few organizations, how important from your perspective still to bring children to the temple?
Well, thank you for that question. As a child growing up in Chicago, I was taught to value education. Because I primarily had teachers who looked like me and who had a vested interest in making sure that I learned. So I love school. I love history. And I attended, with the exception of high school and first year college, I've attended predominantly Black schools all of my life. Graduated from Howard University in 1974. It wasn't until I met Ivan Van Sertima on February the 21st, 1977, that I realized that I had been miseducated. That was when I was told by Van Sertima that the ancient Egyptians, the Kemites, were African. No one had ever shared that information to me prior to that meeting. That's when I realized that I had been miseducated. So I began the process of re-educating myself, and I discovered what I now refer to as forbidden knowledge. Information which has intentionally been withheld from everybody, not just Black folk, but everybody has been miseducated. And when I discovered Dr. Ben, Dr. Clark, John Jackson, Francis Welsing, a whole new world opened up to me. So when I became a dad, as a single parent, I took the education of my daughter seriously, and I was not going to allow an educational system to teach my daughter her African history. So I began taking her to Egypt with me when she was 7. She made her first trip to Egypt when she was 7. We wrote her first book when she was 8.
I have a book.
She's been traveling around the world with me. She's been writing books about her experiences. So by the time she went to college, she had written more books than some of her professors. Surprised to see that her history professor at Hampton was using my book, Nile Valley Contributions to Civilization, to teach history.
Wow!
So she learned firsthand, and you know, and growing up as a child, she assumed that every child went to Africa with their father.
Yeah, exactly.
At college, that she realized how unique her journey was, and so Atlantis has been blessed to accompany me in these journeys. She's written 3 books, and Atlantis has now graced me with a grandson.
Oh, I didn't even know she did it. Okay,
we're gonna keep it going.
So you know, this brother is going to follow in our footsteps. He's going to be trained to blaze a trail much more glorious than Father has ever walked. That's the responsibility of a parent. To make sure your children are properly educated and to guide them along the path to enlightenment and cultural empowerment. To teach.
We got to rewind this last part because what he just said, man, is so factual about us as parents, family. Black man, Black woman. Listen to what he said.
No, she did it. Okay, congratulations.
So you know, this brother is going to follow in our footsteps. And he's going to be trained to blaze a trail much more glorious than his mom or grandfather has ever walked.
That's right.
That's the responsibility of a parent, to make sure your children are properly educated and to guide them along the path to enlightenment and cultural empowerment, to teach them to be proud of who they are as people of African ancestry. And that's our job. We should not leave it to anybody else to do our work. So I take my work seriously. I always have.
One more question, Sonette, if you don't mind, real quick. Because brother has been an inspiration to me because of sense of UAM and all of us.
Black family, I'm going to leave it there. Humanity, I'm going to leave it there. I want y'all to go and watch this whole thing on Sinetta TV. Dr. Anthony Browder, Tony Anthony Browder, one of our living elders, living ancestor elders, I call it. You know what I'm saying? This is our Cabernet Black African English version I'm speaking right now. He just said it, family. These gods are a concept, like I've been saying. This is the motherfucking historian. This is the subject matter expert. Like if you go to a heart surgeon about your motherfucking heart, nigga. He's a motherfucking history surgeon, nigga. To dissect all this bullshit, like he said at the beginning. He about truth and facts. He don't give a fuck about your belief and faith, because that's just what the fuck it is. It ain't based on truth, nigga. So get out your goddamn feelings, family. With all of y'all, with all these so-called gods and religions that humans have that's so-called so moral and loving, this motherfucking planet should be the most peaceful planet in the galaxy. With all you niggas, with all your religions that say it's so loving and moral, most humans on this planet got a motherfucking God and a religion. And you tell me how loving and moral it is. I told you it's a concept. But if it's so loyal and moral and loyal and loving and all of this, these religions and gods, why is all this mass murder, raping, and torture going on, human to human and human to this planet? But most of the planet is gods, got gods and religions. Family, please tell me how that makes sense. All of you niggas out there, 7, 8, some billion motherfuckers on the planet. 98, 97% of them got gods and religions. How is the majority of the humans on the planet got gods and religions, and we still got all this massacre and mass murder, rape, torture, and starving going on globally? Intentional starving and mass murder, raping, and torture, family. But all of you niggas got gods and religions. That's loving and moral, you niggas tell me. I have a PhD in common sense over here. I'm an auto-dictate, like I said before. I'm self-taught and educated, nigga. If you don't like it, please unmotherfucking subscribe. And this pro-black everything, PBE. Wednesday's wisdom and understanding, family. I'm out.